Hello everyone, how's it going guys? It's Sean here. Uh, Welcome back to another video. Today we are in Source Filmmaker, and I have a scene loaded up here. Today we are doing a lighting tutorial. We are doing this tutorial due to someone by the name of Ryan Plays 384, I think it was. I'm not looking at the comment right now, but hey Ryan, here's your video. He was asking how I do my lighting for accuracy, I guess. And for quick context, before anyone sticks around, anyone who's looking for accurate FNAF lighting, I'm not your guy. You're gonna want to go elsewhere for that. My lighting typically isn't all game accurate unless maybe I try and do it for a scene, but it's typically just the lighting that I do. So we're gonna do a little lighting tutorial how I do it. Simple as that. I'm gonna try and make it not too long, not too short. So we're gonna get right into it. So before we do anything with the lights, we're gonna start with the camera. And you're probably, if you're not an animator, you're probably thinking, okay, what the hell are we messing with the camera for? What's that gonna do with lighting? A couple of things. So first off, we have our bloom scale, and if you don't know what that is, here's a simple explanation. If you raise it high enough, you'll make your screen a flashbang. If you make it low enough, then everything's pretty clear. Currently, right now, I have the bloom scale on default. I have not changed it at all. And as you can see, things are glowing just a little bit. Everything has a white tint to it. Everything that would glow, like in a camera, supposedly is glowing. So you'll see if I turn up the bloom scale, everything glows a bit more. For my camera settings, I have that all the way down. I pretty much have it off, so nothing glows. You can see here. And for the camera settings, I get SSAO bias. I don't know what that stands for. So here we are. And I get those camera settings and I put it to 0.02 for the bias. And then for radius, I put it to 0.02. And you'll see everything has gotten just a wee bit darker. Things have changed. Like if I compare it to how it was before, you'll see things kind of get a little darker. So I actually put that back perfectly. My God. Those are the camera settings, and I usually run with a lower FOV. My field of view is pretty low right now, and we'll get into, maybe not. I probably won't, actually. I was going to go into, like, focal distance or whatnot, but this is a lighting tutorial, so. But what I just went over does kind of have an effect on the lighting. So, into the lighting. Typically with my lighting, I always start off with, having a single light in the corner. This has been pretty new. I learned this pretty recently, maybe a few months ago. Well, I didn't learn it a couple months ago, obviously. I had it in a video from a year ago, but I learned it about a year ago, and I've been trying to use it quite a bit. I originally saw it in Adrian the Puppeteer's videos, where essentially you have a light glowing in one of the corners. And I thought it was a really cool effect, and I didn't know how to do it for the longest time. So this is how you do it. If you want that effect, you're going to turn on the volumetrics by just right-clicking on the light there, hitting disable or enable volumetrics, excuse me. You'll see now we have essentially what normal people would call sun shafts. So there's that effect. I plop it up in the corner here for a decent effect. We're going to lower down the intensity, and we are going to get our Zayton, I believe it's pronounced as. I'm not sure. And we're going to get that, and we are going to turn it down. So you'll see as we do that, we lower the distance that the light can reach, and that's how I get that glowing effect. And you just aim it directly at the camera. So I think that one looks pretty good. We can mess with the volumetric intensity, the noise strength. So this looks pretty good, I would say. It's pretty good. And then we will get the lighting and turn it to a blue shaft. So it looks like this. It's pretty average for my lighting. Just having it a bit tints of blue there. And then what we will do is copy that light. As I proceed not to do that, we'll copy the light and paste it. So now we have two of them. And what I'm going to do is turn off the volumetrics, so just disabling it. And now I will raise up the far Zayton there, and now I will use it for normal lighting. However, I am going to alter the lighting. Typically, this is too blue for scenes, so I always reduce the amount of blue, so something like this works a bit better. Typically, if I have the lights darker, I actually think that looks pretty good right there, actually. But we will get a rim light going. So my lighting is pretty standard. For the shadows, I always have them all the way. So with the shadow filter is all the way down, and the shadow attention is all the way down. So essentially, lights can never bleed through objects. They can never bleed through objects, and if they do, they're really dark. They're very dark. There's essentially no light. And for the shadow filter size, that essentially changes how crisp the shadows are. So you can see on the character here, the shadows are very sharp, but as I mess with the shadow filter, they become more fuzzy and eventually just disappear. And then if I mess with the shadow attention, you can see lights kind of start to fade through the character a bit. I usually have it all the way down, but depending on the scene, that may vary. So we'll do a light like this. That actually looks really good. I actually really like that. I think that looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. We're going to mess with the lights here a bit more. I think something like that looks pretty good. Typically, my rim light is always brighter than the light that will be on the front of the character. Just because it can get highlighted that way. And I think it looks pretty good. So we will copy this new light. Find a decent place for the light. I typically like to highlight the background. So I give the light a background like this, so the background can be illuminated. I may do that in like little junctions or like little, parts. So I may do it like this, and I'll mess with the intensity. Make it a bit more blue, just for the aesthetic, make it look a bit darker. I like that. That looks pretty good. You'll copy that. Bring other things up that way. So Pirates Cove get eliminated like that. We'll get some new lights. Now, I need to say something. In case you have not used this yet, I recommend it. I've got some coding that allows me to put more than 8 lights without Source Filmmaker saying, "Oh my god, there's too many lights." So I will probably end up doing it. You don't have to copy me exactly, but I will probably be doing it merely for scene setup. But that's just what I do. Ever since I learned how to use more lights, I'm using more lights. It's just what happens. So typically, I try and see where light sources would be in real life, and I try and apply them. Make this one a bit darker. This is typically just a white light, so I never do too much with it. I never make them go to the ceiling, typically. And if I do, then I just mess with the intensity. Just something like that. I think that works pretty good. Then we mess with the FOV, make it wider. And we just copy that, and then we just take it over to the other light. Actually, no, that light is out of frame, so it is no longer a problem. Which that is a recommendation that I give to people. If you're gonna animate and you're worried about lighting and things like that, don't light stuff up that's out of frame because it should not be a worry. Merely because of the fact that the camera cannot even see it, so don't worry about it. It can cause unnecessary stress depending on the person. I typically don't get too worried about lighting. I like giving it a lot of detail. Don't get me wrong, but I don't get stressed about it. This one you can give a little bit of a normal light, I think. You don't need anything special for this one. Maybe give it a little color. Seems a little too blue for me, so I'm gonna mess with those just a bit. See, that's pretty good. Typically if I have lights in the foreground near the character, I have them be dimmer, just so the character can get highlighted. I think that usually works pretty well. Alright, so back to the character. Go and grab this light here, and we will figure out. I might do a second rim light here. For example, I do this one a lot, or this one maybe. But you gotta remember, I always have it dimmer than the one behind it, so. Ooh, there we go. I like that. I think that looks really good. I'm gonna adjust his head a bit, I think. Maybe get him a little closer to the camera. Like this. And if you didn't know this, whenever you're selecting parts of the model, you can hold control and select multiple parts. Like that. And then you can move them all at once. Like this. Sorry, I'm getting OCD over this. I'm going to go and alter this a bit just because I think they should be smaller. Is that perfect or are they being messed up? Okay. I think that looks pretty good. So I like this lighting. I actually like it a lot, I think. I actually might do a second rim light. I think it would help highlight the character against the background a bit more. There we go. I like that. Maybe make it a bit darker. I think that looks pretty good. See, I'm not one who stays with a lighting style. Like, yeah, the general idea of it is the same, but I always try and mess with other types of lighting. So putting in different spots, different colors. You get the idea. I like that. I'm gonna mess with the character a little bit, I think. See maybe if we can get some different eyes. Black eyes, see if that looks any better. Honestly, I like him with the normal eyes. Although there's also other models here, so... Oh, also, for context, in case this needs to be verified, this is the UFMP public model for Source Filmmaker. I was going to use some private models that I was gifted by an animator privately, but I'm not going to use them because the way the model is textured might appear differently than how you would want, or than what's standard in my videos, because I don't often use it. I think I've only used it once in videos, so, you know. Figured I would use this one, and don't ask for them, you're not going to get them. um, so these are the UFMP models. Maybe I can try something like the glowing eyes. Eh, not a fan. One of the big aspects I think that I look for whenever I'm making, I like that. Do I like it? See, it's just me experimenting a lot. That's essentially what it is when doing this type of stuff. Welcome to animating. We will go with the normal eyes. I think that looks the best. I always one thing I'm looking for whenever I make lighting is to make sure that I don't like screw with the eyes too much, you know. Make sure they keep somewhat normal. So there's that. That's really about it. Maybe what I can do is just maybe move the lighting. I always have it pointing at the camera though. That's the key thing there. Raise the intensity. I think that looks pretty good. I can mess with how far it goes, so about there, I think. And then also I can change how big it is, you know, just merely by messing with the FOV. So yeah, there we go. I say that looks pretty good. So that is pretty much the lighting tutorial. It's quite simple. My lighting, it is nothing special at all. And if you want to use the lighting, go right ahead. That's how I do it. The way I animate, I just always try and make the characters. It's kind of weird, but I think the way to describe it is that I make the background dark. I highlight the character from the back, and then I make the front kind of try and match the background. I think that's the best way I can describe it. So you highlight the background, or excuse me, sorry. You have the background dim like this. I think on the recording you can barely see it. I might have to. I think I'll up the lighting just a bit for the recording. Just because that is a little too dark. But yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Up the lighting up just a bit for the recording. There we go. You can see that a bit better. We'll work with that. Typically, I'd have it deeper, but... Or deep. Sorry, words. This is completely unscripted, so I'm just kind of going. I'd have it a bit darker, but for the sake of recording this, I'll have it... I will have it a bit brighter. So, make the background dark, highlight the character with rim lights, and then you make the light on the front of the character dark if you even have one. Because I could just do this. Wrong one. I could just do this. Wrong one. I could just do this. There we go. And see, that in itself doesn't look half bad. You can see, that actually looks kind of good. I don't mind. That was pretty decent. That's about it. So, I think it's honestly pretty good if you can change your lighting and still have it look decent. You know what I mean? Turn a light off or so, and it looks good. So, there we go. That's about it. So there you go. There's my lighting. If you want to use it, go right ahead. I don't care. It's lighting. I'm not going to ask for credit. So there you go, Ryan. I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was helpful to anyone else. I don't know when I'll post again. I don't know. I'm not really too active on YouTube anymore, even animating as a whole. It's just, I don't know, figuring out life, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give it a like, and if it helped you, leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know how it helped you, and yeah. Hopefully the quality improves. If you guys want any tutorials on how to do anything else, I can probably do that. Like model editing or cameras or anything like that. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.